At this moment, let's talk about a story of hard work and perseverance. You're going to love it. As practice begins, the players jokingly collide and jump around, and Vince in his #83 jersey looks like a little turtle he's putting in the effort like it's the Olympic finals. However, his determination just has his teammates staring wide-eyed, thinking, this guy has no fear. The coach intervenes, earning Vince unfriendly looks. Soon, the veterans decide to help him fall. Even when back in the locker room, he couldn't escape the fate of ridicule, with everyone hinting he might as well be considering retirement. His teammates glare at him critically, as if urging, get out, when he hears about Jenna's mysterious gift. At dorm assignments, no one wanted to room with him. Fortunately, Jenna's gift eased his stress. That day, the guys stumbled upon a note from Vince's wife, and, surprise, Vince face planted during training again. Your wife's right, you're useless. A mocking remark sets Vince off. Before he can retort, he's slammed by a big guy. The disparity in skills forced him to yield. A week later, the first round cut started knocking on doors, while Vince, alone, was packing his bags. He felt like a convict awaiting sentencing, silently chanting, I can make this work. But the bar TV was broadcasting good news. Vince actually survived the first round of cuts, although deep down he knew it was just as training progressed. The focus shifted from strength to speed, and Vince, with his bulky gear, looked like a kangaroo tied up. He realized if he didn't change his game plan quickly, he'd be cut next. So he decided to switch to lighter gear. For Vince, staying on the team was more important than winning. Indeed, his performance during practice was top tier. For the first time, he kept pace with top-tier players, but scrimmages weren't easy. The light gear meant he was getting knocked around hard, but all Vince could do was grit his teeth and bear it. Late at night, Vince wrapped his waist with layers of tape to ease the pain, trying to regain that circumflex or microquart or tilde. At that moment, he looked up to see the coach, and they nodded at each other as if saying, we're both putting in the effort, neither of us is backing. Meanwhile, all over the city, workers were protesting as Vince returned to the bar where he once worked. Jenny had made a special pot of chicken soup for him, prompting Vince to invite her out for dinner the next night, to which he eagerly agreed. However, this soon sparked jealousy in Johnny, thinking to himself, how could you have such good luck? Does he seriously think a new girl will partner with us? Johnny was filled with skepticism. We're just talking. What's the big deal? Vince found it all quite baffling. Once it's all over, really, there's nothing left, just like you and me. After training, Vince hurried to the arranged restaurant, knowing Jenny was eagerly anticipating this romantic dinner. However, when Vince said he only wanted to focus on training, Jenna's face instantly dropped. As a loser in his ex-wife's eyes, Vince wouldn't dare to love again, preferring the bar. Back in the dorm, he was surprised to find a new roommate. The coach had paired him with someone to build team chemistry. To get along, he kindly pointed out his roommate's defensive weaknesses, only to be met with an outburst. Turns out, the roommate wasn't singling out Vince. Quite the contrary, he had a rather fiery temper. After receiving some guidance, Vince learned to interpret finger movements to devise defensive strategies. Vince's hard work was like a tenacious eel, bringing new life to the Hawks and narrowly escaping the chop. Just when things seemed to turn around, the preseason brought the Hawks a nightmare of 6 straight losses. This dismal record led fans to lose hope, forcing the coach to consider cuts once more. Worse, Vince's performance nosedived, stressing him the night before layoffs. Vince approached his father, saying, if I get cut, I'm heading back to the bar. His father's advice hit him like a ton of bricks. Vince had been shaken by the pressures of life. He had to admit that merely enduring and being tough wouldn't cut it. If an individual continually allows himself to drift with the current and fails to actively strive for it, he may find it extremely difficult to even obtain the most fundamental opportunities. Meanwhile, the coach and staff were discussing the cut lists, and they all agreed that Vince was fitting in well. The coach hesitated, while assistants thought, win first, consider him later. After the meeting, the coach remained in the office, pondering tactics, until his wife and kids visited and lightened his mood. In that moment, he understood, find solutions to problems. If you don't think of others, you won't get far. In the locker room, Vince clutched his player manual, anxiously awaiting his fate. He was summoned to the office, and the other players exchanged subtle glances among themselves, their chuckles echoing in the air, while underneath their easy exterior they had already formed a rough idea of what was going on. Stepping into the office, Vince felt an inexplicable sense of dread. He thanked the coach and prepared to return the manual. However, the coach looked at him thoughtfully before gently pushing the manual back to him, signaling he could keep it for a few more months. And so, under great pressure, the coach kept Vince, and he officially joined the Hawks. Excitement coursed through him. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.